Hello there and happy Easter to you. Okay, now I'm going to make a little bag to put Easter eggs in. Now, depending where you are in the world, you can, I don't know, you can put them around the garden. Probably not a good idea at this time of year for us because there's still a frost. And, yeah. So, basically, I've got a freezer bag here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just check that I've got the size right. Because what I want to do is I want to present a relatively toppling over little bag for Easter. So I don't want to make it too big and I don't want to make it too small. So that I can kind of just sort of get, yeah. So that sort of size would be fine for us. Alright, I'll put them out of the way. I'm going to be making it out of red felt. This is just so easy to sew. And because I have some, I'm going to be using crimping scissors. Okay, now the base, I suppose, I'm going to make that sort of size. And I'm just going to make it oval. And I'm going to guesstimate it really, because I'm going to make use of the fabric that I have, which is always a good idea. Maybe I should start again. Okay. And then I want the bag to come up, and I'm going to place some of these lovely tulips and I'm going to stitch them on to the side of the bag. So I know exactly what I want to do. I don't really know how to describe it, which is kind of quite usual for me. So we're going to have the bottom bit flat. I know that much. And then we're going to swing it over the top. So you can't see a thing I'm doing, sorry. I have a terrible habit of resting on my knees so I can hunch over even more. So basically, I am having the bottom flat and I am curving over with this. So very, very simple design. It completely, as it looks, I am cutting it. And then I am going to just chuck that on the floor, fold that in half, and then cut another circle. Now what I want is the handles to be arched round about the same thickness. And I need it thick enough to sew on the tulips, which we're going to do in a moment. So lovely. And I'm going to match it up just so it looks tidy. So I'm going to get rid of that. What I'm left with is a basic bag shape. Now I'm using my crimping shears because, yeah, but there's no reason. There is no reason to. Now it's probably best if we start at the bottom. I've got my base here and I can get rid of some of this stuff. I think I want to keep my chocolates. And I'm literally going to sew the base on to the material so that it stands up. Now I was hoping I could get away without moving the machine. I'm really sorry, I'm going to have to dislodge some of the chocolates. And Easter is not about chocolates. Really isn't. curve this, it's an oval round, so that it joins up there. I'm going to decant it from the machine. And then I am going to sew on the other side. Such difficulty with this. Okay, so now I've got the base on these two sides. I'm going to sew up the bottom, and then I'm just literally going to sew around the outside. So I just keep on sewing, if that's okay with you. The side of the bag, and this is now the handles. So I've got the sewing machine on quite a large stitch, but it's quite thick, 2 layers of felt, so you know, not terribly difficult. It shouldn't be having as much trouble as it's having. I'm just going over the top of the bag now. I'm making sure that these are both lined up, and I'm just coming down this side. So I'm nearly finished. Do the bottom. So we basically have the bag shape now. What I want to do is I want to put some structure in the handle, so I'm just going to literally sew from the point there round to the top. This is just to keep it all nicely in place. So that's good enough for me. How bizarre. It's all bizarre. So yes, what I do need to do is I would do these off the screen, and it's just literally, it's all the flaky bits. So there's my basic bag structure with an opening and well, I'm going to say a square bottom. You know what I mean. I mean, it's got a solid bottom, so that I can literally pile these eggs in here, and then it's going to look. Now what I don't want to do is have eggs left over, so if I feel the need that it doesn't look full enough, then I might cut it down even lower. So, but that's the nice thing about this, is you can adjust it as you sew. The other side better. The other side looks better. Let's turn him round. There we go. So that's that. That's the bag. That's the simple bag shape. I do have a few of these tulips, and I'm going to sew them on the side. I'm just going to tack them on. In fact, the magic of felt, I could probably glue them on. But I do want it to look nice. So with my leftover pieces that I've made, I need to now have 4 bell shapes. So what I'm probably going to do is just not worry about the wastage, is just cut them out. Because it's amazing what you can use size-wise. You know, I'm a big advocate of not wasting material, making sure that you cut it to save as much as you can, but sometimes. So there we go, we've got my 4 petal shapes. I found the easiest way to sew them is to sew them initially in a cross, and then I'm going to, rather than waste this tiny bit of yellow that I used to make some daffodils, is I'm just going to cut that there, and I'm going to hand stitch those in. That's quite amazing, isn't it? They're still there, aren't they? And that is literally defying gravity. It's just, I suppose, the friction of the felt to hold them still. So all I'm going to do, literally, a couple of tack stitches. I'm making sure that I'm going through all 4 bits of felt for the petals, and I'm catching the little yellow tufty, is it stem, I don't know, the polleny bit anyway, but it just adds a bit of colour to it, so I'm quite happy with that. And then I've turned it all over, and I am literally just pulling this through. I can even take the thread and wrap it round these 4 layers just to hold them in place. Now, I found that with all of them, they need some fiddling afterwards, some adjusting and some trimming. I know what a tulip looks like, but apparently they don't look very accurate, so yeah. So what you can just do is, because it's felt, that's the nicest thing about it, is you can just give them a little trim so it looks as accurate as possible. Okay, so the last step of my bag is just to sew on. I'm going to hand sew. I'm going to change my thread needle as well so that it's not yellow, so it doesn't show. Is to sew them all together and tidying up these little threads that are all hanging down from my sewing machine. I haven't made a stem for that one because I didn't think I needed to, because of quite often with tulips they have 2 flowers on 1 stem, and all that is a rectangle and a couple of leaves, and then just placed on as well. So there's no supporting structure in these flowers, there's no wires or anything, so you know, it's quite safe for youngsters to use. And also, right, if they don't like chocolate, if you do it this way, you can fill it up with their favourite, whatever they like, biscuit bars or whatever, their favourite candy. Okay, I'm going to pause you, get that all done so I can show it to you when it's finished. Okay. So welcome back. So what I did is I just tacked these leaves back on, and I put the flowers, sewn them on a bit more fixed. I also trimmed my handle so that these are together, because I just thought it would look so much more tidy. Alright, well, I can imagine a young lady skipping around the garden in the morning with her chocolates, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching.